Hi. We would like to welcome you to our focus group. We want to say thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedules, and we truly appreciate your help in our current research for non-medical prescription drug use. We are aware that prescription drug use and abuse is very common amongst college students. This idea for our focus group is to gain your opinion and knowledge on the subject at hand. The information we collect is simply used for our research on the topic. So with further ado, I am Rachel Neal.
I'm Sarah Jin.
I'm John Wayne.
And I'm Wayne Goodman.
And for tonight, we have a few rules actually for our focus group. We're going to be tape recording everyone in the group, so we can just capture everything that you say. There's a microphone up here, so you might have to talk a little bit louder just so we can hear you. Everything that you say, it'll remain anonymous. So if you don't know someone in the group, just don't be afraid just to say your opinions. It doesn't really matter. We're not gonna send you to the police or anything like that, so, okay. There's gonna be no right or wrong answers, so this is all just completely opinion-based. Everyone's experiences and opinions are very important, so please speak up. Disagree or agree, we want to hear what you have to say. A wide range of opinions is exactly what we are looking for, since this is for research. We want you guys to do all the talking, so I know after the rules we'll get into some questions and an activity. So basically this is going to be just a big discussion group. So we definitely need everyone's participation. So again, everything that you guys say in this room is going to stay in this room, so let's not talk about whatever everyone else said during the focus group, and just to be considerate of other people whenever they're speaking, so just don't have super negative opinions if someone else's opinions aren't the same as your own. So before we get starting into the discussion, we would love to share. Everyone go around the room, say your name and your major and year in school. So gonna start?
Yeah, I'm Jake. I'm a senior and major in health science.
I'm Andy. I'm a senior and I'm majoring in pre-dental.
I'm Dylan. I'm a senior and majoring in finance and supply chain management.
I'm Emily. I'm a sophomore and my major is social work.
I'm Jamie. I'm a junior and my major is social work.
I'm Marissa. I'm a sophomore. My major is child life and child development.
I'm Anne-Marie. I'm a junior and my major is marketing.
I'm Adam. I'm a junior and I'm a health science and nursing major.
Awesome, okay. Well, we're all health science majors, so this is what this is for, the class. So if you guys wanted to, you can go and do your worksheet right now. There's just a few questions on there. Does everyone have a pen to use? Okay.
asked me to come.
Yeah, I did.
Way to go.
I came because you asked.
Thank you.
I came because I know the feeling of, just not having enough participants in a little focus group. Because I have mine tomorrow. It's gonna be a little
Thank you. Well, we really appreciate you guys all participating. So we'll go ahead and start with the questions. When you guys hear the words illegal use of prescription drugs, what do you think of first? Go ahead, just shout them out to me.
Use of painkillers.
Use of painkillers? Well, you guys all said that
level, and then maybe knowing that there are some risk factors, but some are very minimal or not serious. So like, it's easy to get by with taking some and not have serious effects at first.
So you think that people who start off before they even start using prescription drugs, do you think that they are
I think they're more
like
aware
knowledgeable
it,
of the risk
know,
factors, or?
Because of friends that might have done it and are okay afterwards, and they feel as though it's okay to also take the drugs.
And they may know of the risk factors, but they'll think like, oh, that'll never happen to me, so they're okay with taking them and using them.
I feel like it's the effect of the drug. Adderall and Vyvanse give you focus, which is applicable to school, but taking the Xanax has nothing to do with your class unless you want to fall asleep.
So do you think that people are only using these prescription drugs in like academics? Or do you think that people are using these prescription drugs for like other environments?
I think there might be a demand for like what's being used for the day of the week. Like maybe Monday through Friday, Vyvanse is like a huge demand, and then on the weekend, all the other drugs come out, and there could be like a huge population of college kids in the environments that those drugs are abused.
Okay. And if everyone could speak up a little bit louder. Sorry, I don't want to like have to pass around the microphone or anything, but so yeah, because we get to know what you're saying because all of this is for research. So the next question is going to be, who are the types of people who use these prescription drugs? So are they going to be your sorority's president, or are they going to be, some like bum that lives on Neely Street? What do you guys think? Like, who are these kinds of people who use these drugs?
I think anyone who can get a hold of them, really. As long as they're college-wise, I think the Adderall, everyone's going to want to use it, whether you're taking the hard classes or not. Once you've got a midterm or exam coming up, everyone wants to cram. Once you've got a midterm or an exam coming up, everyone wants to cram.
Is this question just towards Adderall and Vyvanse?
No, this question is towards the use of prescription drugs for non-medical use. So people who are like prescribed Adderall, that's okay. But people who are using and buying Adderall from people who have prescriptions. So who else do you guys think that these people look like or act like?
I don't think you can really stereotype it because if, say, the bum on Neely Street gets his hands on a bottle of Xanax, he's going to take it if he wants to. But then at the same time, you're going to have people on Wall Street that work for accounting and investment banks, and they're going to take Adderall and things they need to stay awake when they're up working from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I think it's not a stereotype, it's just really what you do in life and what you want to do with the drug, really.
So not talking about strictly Adderall, what about like codeine? Like who are the types of people you think would take codeine?
Rappers.
Rappers?
Yeah.
So like people who are like in the media a lot, or please elaborate on rappers.
Lil Wayne.
Not specific rappers, that's not what I meant.
I don't think it's the music. I don't think it's the music industry, but
No.
it's definitely.
So you think
I don't
it's
know.
people who are telling people that they're on codeine?
I mean, if you
within their
listen
cup?
to the rap and hip hop songs, they had a lot of rappers mention it, so maybe it's just
Okay.
that stereotype of individuals, or
Do you think there are like some types of there are some stereotypes for certain types of drugs? So like everyone knows the whole like, you can kind of tell if someone smokes marijuana or not. There's like sometimes like that look, the whole like
Hippie.
Bob Marley hippie look. So do you guys think that there are, or there could be stereotypes for some prescription drugs?
I don't think so. Because I know people my whole life that have taken prescription drugs, and I wouldn't be able to tell just from looking at them.
I think one thing that has to do with it could be maybe someone that doesn't have very much money and like was prescribed a certain drug that they know is popular and then wants to sell it. That like audience that is gonna buy it obviously has to have money. But like I feel like that's something you could associate with different drugs. So if you can afford it, like without getting a prescription.
Okay. Can you guys describe the type of environment that some people that you would take these drugs? So, for example, maybe this rapper, this Lil Wayne guy, was doing codeine. Would it be like, explain his environment to me?
Anywhere, his house, at a party, with his friends.
So you think that he'd be around people and be in like a party type of environment?
I would assume so.
So you think that he'd be like wanting to have an enjoyable time, like not wanting to sleep? Or do you think he's taking this codeine to suppress his cough, possibly?
No, I don't think it's the latter of that. I think it's more of maybe he thinks it helps him with something, creativity, or maybe his friends are doing it or something, but.
So like peer pressure?
It's not because of the cough.
Okay. What about you, Adam? How do you feel? What do you think about the environment that a person would take prescription drugs? Please describe an environment that someone would use prescription drugs. I mean, a good example is like where we are right now in the library. A lot of people do a lot of their studying and their like academics in the library, so this could be a good place where people would take Adderall.
Well, sometimes I think maybe like, I don't think like the library would be like a general place where people would take Adderall. I feel like some people would take it in like, maybe in like a setting that they're more comfortable with, where like, I don't know, like, I've had friends that would take Adderall in their dorms just to focus by themselves and like, really like zone in to whatever they're working on and just close everybody out. I mean, I don't think there's like a general spot that people would take like Adderall and, you know, excel in their like schoolwork and such.
Okay. Any other kind of environments, possibly?
I think it just depends on what you're using it for. If it's like a recreational use, like a Xanax or something, you might take many to get like a high or something off of it and go to a party or something and drink and then mix the two. Or if you're just trying to sleep and not have anxiety, you might take it at your house at night before you go to bed. So I think it just depends on when you're taking it or what you're using it for. Because I mean, some people still do, I feel like, purchase these prescription drugs illegally to still use them for their purpose. Especially like Adderall specifically, kids still buy it to help them focus, and I think people do that as well with like Xanax and all of those ones.
Okay. So what are some types of prescription drugs that are used for non-medical reasons on Ball State's campus, you think, or other campuses?
Everything that was on that list.
Yeah, this was kind of redundant. Sorry, I'm gonna skip the question. So what are some of the triggers that may cause someone to want to use prescription drugs? So like say that they are kind of struggling in one of their classes and they need to focus more. They might possibly use Adderall before studying for the next final. So what do you guys think are some like environmental factors, or maybe even like psychological factors or physical, biological factors?
I think to impress like your parents, you want to get the grade, you want to get into grad school or whatever. So that might be a reason.
I think overall just stress, probably for everything. Just if you're studying for a test, you want to get into grad school, you're probably stressed out. You need to focus, and just a lot is going through your mind when you're stressed and worried. So you would take something to calm you and focus in on whatever you're doing.
Why do you think the people who take the drugs not Monday through Friday, so like on the weekend, why do you think, what are those people having triggers of? Do you think they're still stressed out about school?
I mean, it's possible, but I think like sometimes if people are taking drugs like that, they could be very like scatterbrained and maybe need to focus or just like kind of let go of what has been happening and take the drugs to kind of forget, and then have just like that recreational time with it.
So you think that they're wanting to forget about being stressed out?
But not just stress, probably like anything that's going on in life.
Okay.
I think they take it for crunch time, like, you know, if it's the last minute and they have to get something done, they're gonna take a Adderall and maybe speed things up.
Okay.
I think it could be like to take the edge off, like if they're going to a party or something, might help them forget and just like make it not so nerve-wracking.
Okay. So what is one thing that each person, oh wait, sorry. What is something that you guys think that is an issue with like Ball State's campus and like drug use? So do you guys think that people are being unsafe with it? Do you guys see it ever? Or do you guys ever do it? You don't have to answer that last part.
I saw it in a dorm a couple years ago. Like a girl had snorted Xanax and just saw like what happened to her.
So you think snorting Xanax is an issue?
Well, now I believe that it happens because I saw at least one person. So
Okay.
maybe having that belief as opposed to hearing it and not actually witnessing it.
Okay. What about you?
Me? Well, I'm prescribed Adderall, and once people know that, not that I want everyone to know, but once people do know that, you get those texts from people that their friend wants to know where they can get some Adderall. So that kind of, I feel like the Adderall specifically is kind of an issue.
I've heard of some like people that like would do prescription drugs and then drink and like not be educated on like knowing like that you're not supposed to drink on some medications, and that like really affecting their night and causing them not to have a pleasant evening.
Do you think those people know that they're not supposed to drink on their prescription?
I think some might know that they shouldn't drink, but I think others might be taking it for the first time and not realizing it. And if, like, not everybody knows that they're on a prescription and you're offered alcohol, like you might take it not thinking about it, because if you're on that high, you may not even consider it, might not come across your mind.
Going along with that, I've seen someone, take like large amounts of pills and then drink, but they did it on purpose. Like they purposely want to do that and have go out and have a good time. So I think that could be a huge issue, like people wanting to mix those things, like even if the effects can be very, very harmful.
Do you think that they're trying to just have a good time on it, or like what is their reasoning behind taking drugs and drinking?
I mean, I don't know. That was, I wasn't like close with the person, so I didn't know them like fully, but I think for them, it was mainly peer pressure for who had done that. It was all peer pressure based, and then just kind of only hearing the good things that have come of it and doing it anyways because they've heard that.
So you said peer pressure. Was there other people as well doing it with them, or were they like by themselves, or?
No, it was other people were.
Other people were with them too. Were they all doing the same thing? Were they all?
I think so. I wasn't there. It was just kind of like crossing of paths in dorms, and they were about to go out, and they had mentioned that their friend took like a half a bottle of something and laid on my floor and was like passing out. So I think that peer pressure is just like a huge thing with like stuff like that, because obviously you're not going to sit there and tell them the bad night you had that one time, but you're going to talk about how great it was that other time you did it. So I think peer pressure is a huge part.
I know one time freshman year, my neighbor had gotten his wisdom teeth taken out, so he's taking hydrocodone and then still decided to drink after people told him not to. There were a group of people in his room drinking, so sort of the peer pressure of just everyone being in his room, the social aspect of wanting to drink, but at the same time, everyone was telling him that you had just taken this medication, you probably shouldn't drink on it, and he still chose. So I think sometimes it's like peer pressure, but it also has to do with like the environment and wanting to be cool.
Be cool. Why do you think that he thought that he was being cool while taking drugs and drinking at the same time?
I don't think he thought he was cool because he was doing them at the same time. I think that he was a freshman in college and he wanted to drink, and all his friends were drinking, and he didn't want to miss out on drinking on a Friday night.
So he didn't purposely take his hydrocodone and drink at the same time, or was it he took his hydrocodone a couple hours beforehand and then he was just like, oh, I'm just going to drink anyway?
He'd taken it, I believe, a couple hours beforehand, and then after telling, because I knew he had gotten his wisdom teeth taken out, and after telling him that he probably shouldn't drink on the medication, he still decided to, so.
So it wasn't like a purposeful crossfade?
Well, I think he knew what could have happened after doing it, so maybe it was purposeful, but I don't know. It was sort of a little bit purposeful. You got it out of me.
Kind of, but not really.
Right.
Okay, are there any other thoughts or opinions? Well, where do you guys think that on like Ball State's campus would be good places to either inform people about the harms of prescription drug use, or what would be like some good, like maybe, like, like DARE program? There's a DARE program when we're like in 2nd or 3rd grade, and that's a good way just to make it knowledgeable to students in elementary school about the harmful use of drugs can be, or how harmful drugs can be. So what do you guys think that would like be good, like programs or like maybe posters or like slogans or something that could go around on Ball State's campus or just other college campuses in general?
I think kids, like on college campuses, aren't really going to pay that much attention to programs like that, because kids think, or like we think that we know better than what they're trying to advocate. And I think if you do a program like that, you would have to mainly talk about like the severity of it versus be like, just don't do it, like just don't, it's fine. But you would have to like talk about how illegal it is and how harmful it is, and it would have to just be very like just talking about the worst versus just like telling kids not to do it, because kids aren't going to stop.
So do you think maybe possibly having a group of people show like the severity through it from like an example, so you can like show pictures and be like, this is what happened because she did this? Do you think that would be a good way to like implement this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why do you think that would be a good way to implement this?
When I was going through my DARE program, they showed us pictures of people who did meth, and like that scarred basically everyone in the classroom.
Why did that scar everyone?
Because they would show before and after, and the after looked like a different person. And then,
So did you think that taking drugs would make you a different person negatively, or?
just to think that kids see the side effects of it and then they make a mental decision of whether or not it's something they want to do in their life. That's why I think you see like Adderall and marijuana, you don't see as many kids freak out about it because the before and after pictures is usually not bad. But with other drugs, it's very bad. And that's why kids make the decision not to do those drugs.
I think with the pictures, it's like the long-term effects of it. Sorry. Because like, when you think of taking something, you don't really think about the long-term effects. So when you see that picture of someone with no teeth and they look disgusting and are in jail for the 5th time, then you realize that it's actually an addictive drug.
Thank you for that input. It was really good. Do you guys have anything to add?
I heard you guys talk a lot about Adderall and Vyvanse, but from the research, and I know Andy said earlier that
We'll cut that out. It's fine.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on any other drugs being used?
I think on college campuses, like, I personally don't see a lot of the other drugs that we talked about be very prominent on campus, which I know they probably are, but personally I don't experience or see the other drugs around very often except for Adderall and stuff like that. and especially like, you know, finals week, that's when I feel like when I was a freshman, that's when it became a very apparent issue to me that it was kind of not cool, but that was what you did during finals week. Like, you needed to take Adderall to focus to get good grades. And I'd never experienced that before. And that's the only time I've ever really experienced prescription drugs as being something that kids actually do. So when it comes to the other drugs, I don't see it or experience it ever really, but that obviously can change. But
do you guys think that maybe the gateway of people doing these prescription drugs, do you think it's mainly through like illnesses or surgeries that they've had, or do you think it would be something along the lines of just their friends do it as peer pressure?
Mainly peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Why would you say that?
Is it because you think that you would only do these prescription drugs in like a group of people or with a group of people, or do you think that people are, you know, taking OxyContin and Vyvanse by themselves for recreational use?